All right, welcome in everyone. I see we have some people joining. I'm going to give people about up until the 2-minute mark to join. So just enjoy the music. We'll start at 8. We'll start in about a minute at 8:02. Okay, we still have people joining, but I will go ahead and get started. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, Manage Caching for Valkey, a sneak peek into our upcoming database engine. Today, you'll get a first look into our upcoming managed database service, Manage Caching for Valkey. So we'll cover a range of topics about this new database, including if you are an existing managed caching customer, and if you're a new customer, we'll cover all the topics you need to know. We'll walk you through that in our next agenda slide. But first things first, I wanted to introduce myself. I'm one of the speakers today. My name is Nicole Galwash. I am the Senior Product Marketing Manager for Managed Databases here at DigitalOcean. I'm located in a tech hub of the world. I'm in San Francisco, so that's that. It's looking a little gloomy today. But we also have another speaker, as you can see. His name is Zach. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, thanks, Nicole. So I'm Zach. I'm a Senior Product Manager here at DigitalOcean. I work with our managed database products, and I'm super excited to talk to you about Valkey today. I'm based outside of Denver, Colorado, and we do not have gloom. It is a sunny day here, but I think we have snow in the forecast, so maybe you've got us beat on that front.
Okay, let's get started. So the agenda today, for anyone who's brand spanking new, we're going to go over DigitalOcean as a company, what our mission is, what we offer, and then we're going to go over our managed databases portfolio. And then we're going to get into our managed caching for Valkey overview. Again, like I said, it's going to be a sneak peek. So our managed caching for Valkey, just to clarify right off the bat, it's not available yet. It's not GA'd yet, but it's coming up within the next couple of weeks. So you guys are hearing it first. And then we'll go into some use cases. And then we'll go ahead and end it with a Q&A session with Zach and myself. And then at the end, we'll be sure to provide next steps and resources as a way for you to get started building. So just a little insight as to what you'll gain from this session. First, we'll show you how DigitalOcean, our caching experts from DigitalOcean, you will hear from our caching and infrastructure experts to gain insights about managed caching for Valkey. And then we'll talk about use cases about our managed caching product that's coming up. And then that will just bleed into a sneak peek. And then we'll, like I said, talk about a live Q&A session. So these three things is what you'll leave here with: insights, a sneak peek at our new engine, and then engaging with our experts and Q&A. Okay, so for those of you who are new, why DigitalOcean? This is really the question, right, that you ask yourself when you evaluate different cloud providers. So it really comes down to three things for us. It's simplicity, scalability, and approachability. So first, simplicity. We make cloud infrastructure easy to use. Cloud powers the world, but we found that developers were left behind in that. So we want to make building for developers easy. We want you to focus on building your apps, not managing servers. We want you to focus on innovation, not managing hardware. And you can see that this simplicity really does pay off for you and your business. Customers see a 30% lower total cost of ownership. And then also they have to complete 50% less steps to set up compared to other providers. So again, simplicity, that is one of our core principles. Next, scalability. Whether you're just starting out or running a high traffic app, we grow with you. We want to enable you to scale and grow your business. We provide you with the tools and infrastructure you need to scale your business as it grows. And our statistics stand by this. As you can see, we have around 2 million droplets deployed, 221 petabytes of customer data on DigitalOcean, and we have around 77 billion objects in storage. And there is a ton of customer testimonials about scaling and growing businesses that I will show you at the end. But the last one I just want to touch on is approachability. So building on the cloud should be easy, whether you're a curious developer, you're a lifelong learner, or you're a C-suite executive tasked with some important, let's say reducing costs for a public or a private business. It should be built for everyone is what we're saying. It should be easy. It should be predictable, well documented. And at DigitalOcean, we have the stats to back that up. You can see in terms of documentation, we have 8,000 tutorials and 3,000 docs. We also are predictable. We have predictable pricing. And then we also offer a very robust support offering. So we have 24/7 support with an average response time of 5 hours. So again, we are in the business of building a reliable, approachable cloud platform for our users. So that's the next thing I wanted to talk about, our users. We have a very global, worldwide presence. DigitalOcean delivers reliable infrastructure and network connectivity that businesses trust worldwide. So you can see we have 15 data centers around the world. We support over 638,000 customers in around 190 countries. So our proven track record and our global presence speaks for itself. We help businesses around the world scale and grow their business with confidence. And then you can see we have, a slew again of customers down here below. And again, I will be showing you guys the customers' testimonials at the end. Okay, so let's get to the good stuff. I want to get into the managed databases overview. Starting off with, let's look, at a bird's eye view of our technology suite. So we offer a full stack cloud platform, again, built to meet the needs of developers, of startups, of learners, and then of growing businesses. So whether you're just getting started or building to scale business that's already been launched, and pretty much anywhere in between those things, our suite of products and services can help immensely. So it's a full stack platform. But today we're going to be talking about managed databases, specifically our upcoming database engine, managed caching for Valkey. Let me make this clear again. This database engine is not available yet, right now. So today we'll be doing a preview, a sneak peek, and it will be available in the coming weeks. And I will give you more information at the end on how you can be notified when it is available. Okay, so I do want to touch on the database engines that we offer currently. We currently offer 6 fully managed database engines listed on the screen. Managed caching for Valkey will be our 7th and latest database engine when it's released. Our managed databases portfolio includes, you'll see on the left side, popular relational databases like MySQL and Postgres, and then we also have document databases like MongoDB. And then on the right, we have more specialized databases like OpenSearch, Kafka, which you'll see is like Kafka is more of a streaming platform. And then OpenSearch is a logs management platform. So again, more specialized databases for different use cases that you have. And if we're going to talk about use cases in a bit, but if you're more interested in seeing which use case goes with which database or vice versa, you can always reach out to our sales team as well. So you can also see here that we noted that caching is leaving in 2025. And again, we will be replacing that with caching for Valkey, which is coming very soon. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments about this. Okay, one thing I wanted to point out, this slide I wanted to show you guys because it does show you how all of our 6 database engines that we currently offer stand up to competitors in terms of performance, specifically AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure. So as you can see here, we beat out AWS, GCP, Azure in terms of out-of-the-box performance by 30% or throughput per second. So simply put, we outperform these hyperscalers, these nearest hyperscalers by 30%. And then on the right side, you can look at cost efficiency. DigitalOcean outperforms the nearest hyperscaler by 42%. So as you can see, the price per performance is even more impressive than the performance, but both are very big margins, so 30% and 42%. This can be attributed to a lot of things, but one thing, that I want to note, which is why we, beat out the nearest hyperscalers in terms of performance and price per performance, is we have a fast tread in terms of cloud innovation. So what I mean by that is we quickly advance our database offerings. For example, we have over 10 feature enhancements or new products coming to our DBaaS offerings between Q1 and Q2. All right. And then now, before I hand it over to Zach, I do see a question in the chat. I will go ahead and save that for later, but I promise that we'll get to it. So just put your questions in the chat as they come to you, and then we'll save them for the end. So now I will hand it over to Zach, where he will give us an overview of managed caching for Valkey.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. So first, thank you, Nicole, for the introduction to DigitalOcean and managed databases. For today, let's kick things off by introducing the star of the webinar, Valkey. You might see this name popping up more frequently, and we're really excited to talk about why this is a significant addition, especially for those of you that might not be familiar with high-performance data stores. So what exactly is Valkey? At its core, it's an open-source, high-performance, in-memory data structure store. But that's a lot of words. Let's break that down. So in memory, this is the key to its speed. Unlike traditional databases that primarily store data on a disk or an SSD, Valkey keeps the data set in RAM. This allows for incredibly fast read and write operations, often sub-millisecond latency. Think about use cases where speed is absolutely the goal, and like caching web pages or speeding up queries for your application. And that's where Valkey really shines. Data structure store. It's not just a simple key value store. Valkey excels at handling various data structures efficiently. Think lists, sets, sorted sets, hashes, and more. This makes it versatile for different programming needs beyond just caching. And then open source. This is really fundamental to Valkey's identity. It was born as a community-driven fork of Redis 7.2 open source. And why? The community, including major tech players, wanted to ensure a truly open source future for this technology, governed collaboratively under a permissive license, free from the licensing changes that affected Redis. Essentially, Valkey aims to continue the open source spirit of Redis, driven by the community that uses and relies on it. So the crucial question for any open source project is, who's behind it? Is it sustainable? And I want to emphasize, Valkey has an incredibly strong backing. It's governed by the Linux Foundation, which provides neutral, established home for collaborative development. It isn't just a small side project either. It has the structure and support of one of the world's leading open source foundations. Furthermore, look at the major industry players that are supporting it. We have AWS, Google Cloud, Oracle, Ericsson, and us here at DigitalOcean. Getting us all united and excited about a single product means significant resources, development contributions, and commitment to building a robust ecosystem around it will happen. This isn't just a fork, it's a well-supported continuation and evolution. So the most common question, and the one we got already, is if I'm using Redis, can I switch? Is it compatible? The answer is yes, especially if you're using any version of Redis based on 7.2. Valkey was specifically created from a fork of this version. It was 7.2.4. So think of it like a diverging path. At the point of the fork, Valkey and Redis were essentially identical. So this means existing client libraries, application code, and data design for Redis should work pretty seamlessly with Valkey right now. For those of you using DigitalOcean managed caching currently, we have a clear and straightforward path for you to adopt Valkey. And we'll talk a little bit more about that soon. So, of course, Valkey is not Redis, and the projects will change. And as they evolve over time, we will see divergences in functionality. And while the Valkey project has committed to maintaining compatibility, they're also really excited about the future that they are going to drive for themselves. So as a summary, Valkey represents performance, an open source commitment, and a strong community with industry backing. It's compatible with what you use today. It's really a compelling option for anyone needing a fast, reliable in-memory data store. And right here, you can see exactly how you'd select Valkey when you're setting up a new managed database instance in our platform. And it's listed among engines that you know and trust today. Awesome. So as we saw on the last slide, Valkey isn't just technically impressive. It also has a significant backing from major players like the Linux Foundation, AWS, Google Cloud, and us at DO. So what makes me the most excited about Valkey is the fact that it's community driven. This isn't just a footnote. This is the core reason for its existence and a key to its future. So diving into community driven, what does that really mean? It means neutral governance. Valkey lives under the Linux Foundation, like I mentioned. This is incredibly important because it means there isn't just a single company that dictates the project's direction and controls its destinies. The rules of engagement are clear, open, and designed for collaboration. I'd love for you to check them out on GitHub. It means broad collaboration. Think about the companies I just mentioned. These are major players, sometimes competitors, who have all come together to invest and contribute to Valkey. This means we're going to build a great product, and it's going to be sustained for a long time. So why should this matter to you? I know at the end of the day, you just want a high-performing key-value store that works. Your developers, your business users. Well, Valkey gives you trust and stability. You can adopt it with confidence, knowing that its future isn't tied to shifting business priorities. It's a broad community that loves this product. It's going to have innovation driven by need. The people working on Valkey are the people that are writing, the people working on Valkey are its power users. So the roadmap is influenced by the collective needs of everyone. And if you need something, you're welcome to contribute it too. It has a vibrant ecosystem. So I expect to see a ton more tooling, integrations, client libraries, and more as it becomes adopted much more extensively. And ultimately, you have freedom. We don't want to lock anyone in, and we want to make sure that you have the freedom to use, modify, and integrate this technology however you need. So that's one of the that is, for me, probably the most exciting aspect of Valkey being this new offering. So what is Valkey doing that's making the product even stronger? Well, we have some highlights. And this slide highlights some of the significant developments that make Valkey way more powerful. So first up, we have enhanced I/O multi-threading. So this is one of the most impactful changes in this version of Valkey, speaking specifically about version 8.0. Historically, we've relied really heavily on single cores, on a single core performance for handling network requests. Valkey redesigned this, allowing for multiple CPU cores, specifically for managing network communication. This is going to speed everything up. It's kind of like if you're at a really busy store and suddenly there's multiple cashier lanes open instead of just one. We're parallelizing all of this network traffic so that we can handle more traffic. The benefit, we're talking about the ability to handle more queries per second. Community reports indicate potential gains of up to 3 times or even more for certain workloads. This boost is particularly noticeable and valuable if you're using TLS encryption, as the computational cost of encryption can now be spread across those multiple cores, preventing pretty significant bottlenecks we might have seen in past products. We have optimized key storage. So Valkey 8.0 introduces smarter ways to store your data structures in memory. Essentially, the way keys and their associated data are organized internally has been optimized. It's like finding a more efficient way to pack boxes. You can get more stuff in the same amount of space. The advantage is you get reduced memory overhead, and this means you can store more data in the same amount of RAM. Community benchmarks have really kind of put this around 10% savings, which, again, we're in an environment where every compute cycle counts. 10% is an amazing gain. For those of you that are running Valkey in a clustered setup, Valkey's improved automatic failover logic. This is going to be really, really helpful to some of your most critical production applications. Imagine a team is working on a product. Valkey's cluster nodes are better coordinated for basically picking up when one person gets a little bit too busy or drops out. So this is going to give you much better stability, and failovers are handled much more smoothly. The final one, and this is the one that I'm excited to see what they extend on the most, is RDMA support. So this is definitely a more advanced feature set, but Valkey now supports RDMA, or remote direct memory access. Think of RDMA as creating a direct high-speed private lane between you and work. You get a really fast way to get to work, and you get to bypass all of the traffic. I think we all love that, right? So if your infrastructure supports RDMA, you'll see significantly lower latency and higher query rates as your network traffic is traversing to and from your Valkey cluster. So as you can see, the Valkey community is actively delivering on improvements that matter. They make it faster, more memory efficient, and more reliable. These enhancements in version 8.0 provide real benefits for a wide range of applications. And the good news is the innovation with Valkey isn't going to stop there. They're continuously developing, and I'd like to now kind of share a look of some of the features that they've already released in the next version. So as we jump into the next version, I do want to clarify, the version we are planning on releasing here at DigitalOcean is based on version 8. Valkey released version 8.1 very early this month, so we're not going to be delivering this on day one, but we are looking forward to delivering future versions later in the year. So with Valkey 8.0, we brought a lot of really good performance improvements, but with Valkey 8.1, they really brought some pretty cool additional optimizations. So Big Count saw massive gains, up to 5% faster, because it's using more modern CPU instructions. It does hyperlog operations 12 times faster, and Z ranks for leaderboard saw a 45% speed up. This is going to be extremely exciting, especially as they continue evolving this and more adoption is made. So as a major change in Valkey 8.1, they also completely rewrote the internal hash table. This core data structure now is now significantly more memory efficient, and this is going to this has been reported to save 20 to 30 bytes per key, which is pretty substantial, especially when you have a really large caching data set. And then finally, Valkey 8.1 has more flexible logging formats. It has better monitoring integrations and smoother defragmentation for more predictable latency, and a ton of just usability and kind of quality of life enhancements. So while we're not releasing Valkey 8.1 on day one, we are really looking forward to the progress we'll be able to make as this product develops further. So I've talked a lot about Valkey, and Because it's open source, I think everyone's aware that you could host it yourself. You could go to a competitor, but here you're attending a DigitalOcean webinar. So I really want to talk about what we're doing specifically with DigitalOcean's managed caching for Valkey. So our managed service is designed to handle all the operational heavy lifting associated with running Valkey. We manage the infrastructure and the database specifically for Valkey in this case that powers our initial offering. This lets you focus entirely on leveraging Valkey's speed and features like enhanced multi-threading and optimized storage directly within your applications. Think about everything involving self-managing, initial server setup, Valkey configuration, applying patches, ensuring high availability, configuring backups, monitoring performance and security, scaling resources. That's a lot of work. That can be a dedicated person. Here at DigitalOcean with our managed caching for Valkey, we take care of that for you. Some of the highlights that I want to bring out, I'm sure you're all capable of reading these bullet points. We allow you to effortlessly scale. So as your cluster needs to change, you can scale up without downtime. And that's exceptionally critical for production applications. We have security built in. We have best practices like network isolation via BCP, and we handle encryption. We also have monitoring alerting, so you know if there's something wrong that you need to react to. Don't worry, we're taking care of the infrastructure, but if you are running out of CPU cycles or something like that, we've got the systems in place to let you know what's going on. So we are really excited to give you Valkey 8.0 as a managed service, and hopefully you're excited to join us and use it. So I know a lot of people attending today are either current users of managed caching, which has been using Redis, or you might be new to caching, and so this might not be as applicable. But I want to go through kind of what our timeline looks like in phases, at least, for our managed Valkey, our managed caching for Valkey release. So first, we're going to have phase 1. I'm going to be very upfront. We're in phase 0 right now. This is a sneak peek. We've made some amazing progress, but we're not quite ready to launch Valkey today. So we're in phase 0 right now, but in phase 1, which is coming pretty soon, you'll be able to start creating new clusters using managed Valkey. At the same time, you'll be able to create new clusters using our existing managed caching service. In case you already have clusters or you're already familiar with it and you're not quite ready for the transition. So you'll be able to, they'll live in parallel for a short duration. The thing I want to highlight is your existing Redis clusters or managed caching clusters will continue to operate exactly as they do today. You'll continue to receive normal maintenance and support. Phase 2, that's when we're going to really start focusing on Valkey. So you will no longer be able to create new clusters using our managed caching service. I know no one loves change, but eventually we just have to prevent that. The creation flow will allow you, though, to create managed Valkey services. And we've done quite a bit of testing, and I've read so many forums. The migration or conversion process is extremely painless. But while you won't be able to create a new Redis cluster, you will still be receiving the maintenance that you are used to receiving. Once we move into phase 3, this is where we're going to really start encouraging you to self-service. We will have a conversion tool and process in place. There's no expected downtime with the conversion. This tool will allow you to easily upgrade from the managed caching cluster to managed caching for Valkey at your own pace. We're really going to encourage you to do this because you know your application best. And if you decide to self-service and do the conversion yourself, you'll be able to schedule it for a convenient time where usage is low. But if you don't self-convert, that's fine. We've got you. So finally, the final phase, phase 4, is when we'll basically end of life our existing Redis offering. This is expected to come in the summer. Leading up to this end of life date, we will notify you, but eventually we will schedule automatic conversion for those existing Redis clusters into managed caching for Valkey clusters. So our goal is to make this automatic conversion as seamless as possible. But I would really encourage anyone, especially with mission critical production clusters set up, try to find a time sometime in the coming months where you can do the conversion. We're pretty sure it's going to be painless. So we understand that there is planning involved, and hopefully this structured phase approach will really kind of give you the confidence that it's going to be an easy transition for you, and we look forward to giving that to you. So that really kind of covered the phase plan for transitioning from Redis to managed caching for Valkey. Now I want to talk and shift gears a little bit about some of my favorite use cases for managed Valkey. Its speed and specialized data structures make it incredibly powerful for specific jobs. So the first one I want to highlight is how you might be able to handle peak performance or handle traffic bursts and kind of improve your peak performance. So imagine this scenario described here. Your application runs smoothly most of the time, relying on your primary database. Hopefully it's maybe managed Postgres or MySQL. But then you kick off a promotion, a major event, and you just see huge spikes in your traffic. Your primary database, while reliable, might struggle to keep up with the sudden intense read load. So scaling the database instance up and down, especially a large database cluster, it can take some time. It can also be expensive and frankly overkill for a lot of cases where you might only have this significant traffic for a short duration. So this is a great place where Valkey comes in. And let's be honest, this is the most classical example that you would use a caching service for. So looking at the diagram, a user request is going to come in step one. The application server is going to see that. Instead of immediately going to your managed database instance, the application is going to see if it's already fetched that data within a time frame that's acceptable for your application. Now, during the traffic spike, instead of users having to go to your database and hitting these super popular items that you're delivering, you basically can just return it via Valkey instantly. So Valkey was designed for high throughput. It can handle millions of these requests per second, effectively shielding your primary database. It acts as a traffic shock absorber to make sure that your database can still be performant even in your most demanding loads. So once, only in cases where your traffic's requesting infrequent or kind of uncommon items, then you'll get a cache miss, and then your application should be routed directly to the database to perform the query. But hopefully you're able to shield your database in from a large majority of the traffic that you get. So by implementing Valkey, you are able to kind of gracefully manage massive temporary traffic bursts, and you can achieve this without the cost and complexity of constantly resizing your primary database. So, which will let you really focus on allowing the database to do what it does best, which is write and execute complex queries. Moving on to the next case, this one's kind of exciting. We all know that everyone is looking at different ways to deliver performant AI-first products. So a very common use case is applications are integrating LLMs, and very frequently they're using techniques like RAG to provide rich, detailed, informative answers. As the developer perspective notes here, sometimes the LLM kind of hallucinates a little bit. While it might have the specific URL in the context that it was provided, it might not get it perfect. And it might also use older links, or it might not give them the right title. So while technically the URLs that are being returned through this LLM process are useful, it's really great to ensure trust with your users that you kind of check these first. And to check if a URL is valid, there's some ways, but the way I'm suggesting is check out Valkey. So what does this look like in application? So first, the LLM is going to generate its response. It might contain one or more URLs. Your application is then going to extract these URLs. And before returning your response to the user, it's going to loop through each of them. It's going to quickly check against the trusted source. Trusted source in this case is Valkey. You can even have additional steps where if it's not already in your Valkey cache, you go to your database to extract known URLs there. The application uses a Valkey command to basically just check, does this specific URL exist? If it does, it will basically return a true, otherwise it'll return false. It's pretty straightforward. Once your application gets back a true or a false answer, your application can then pivot in how it reacts. So if it's invalid, it might go to your database to then query further, or it might just decide to drop this link and resend the response to the LLM and say, hey, don't include this content, and kind of rewrite it. But if it does exist, your application can then go back to Valkey and say, hey, I want the metadata. I want the title. I want to know when this page was accessed, maybe, so that you can provide more trust and context to your users. So the final result, step 7, is that the user gets to view links, and you also get to know that they're going to be valid and they're not going to be broken in your new product that you just announced. So this is a really kind of cool way. There's lots of other ways to pair Valkey up with an LLM. There's a number of use cases you can find online where people are suggesting to use it to help with inference workloads that might be classifying or doing data labeling, because if there's many users asking for the same thing to be labeled, that's another really great use. But I wanted to highlight this one with an LLM today because it's a little bit unique, and it's a different use than I think the intuitive caching use that comes to mind. So our final use case, and I'm really excited to share this one with you because we have a full-blown tutorial that we'll be releasing when Valkey gets released, is all about building an API rate limiter. So as a developer, you know that public-facing APIs, they need protection. Without limits, a single user client, whether it's on purpose or maybe a bug, can flood your API with requests, degrading performance for everyone and potentially taking down your backend services. So you need a reliable, high-performance way to ensure that usage limits, like 5 requests per minute per IP address maybe, can be implemented without adding complex stateful infrastructure just for tracking the number of times someone's connected to your API. So what does this look like in application? The user's a user request is going to come into your API backend. Before executing any of that logic, the API backend should call Valkey, and it's just going to say, for this key, I want you to run an increment counter and take this IP address and maybe this minute and increment it by 1. If that command returns just 1, that means this is the first request in that window for the user. So the script will also set an expiration time on the key to basically be however long that duration should be. This will ensure that counter automatically disappears after the window closes. The script will then kind of finalize, and it will return the current count. Valkey executes all of this logic atomically. So you don't need to worry about what if one piece of this script fails or whatnot. Valkey takes care of that for you, so you don't have to worry about the edge cases. Again, the point of using Valkey in this use case is to really decrease your burden and making it kind of easy to apply some of these infrastructural best practices. So once Valkey gives a count, your application logic will then figure out what to do with it. So in this case, if the count is greater than 5, it's probably going to return like 429 too many requests error, which will just stop your API from going through the hard work. But if it's successful, your API will execute as normal, and your users will get whatever data they need. So as you see this diagram, we're talking about a joke service. This came directly from the example tutorial that we'll be launching when we release Valkey. We have step-by-step guides on how to apply this, as well as the code and everything, a GitHub repo ready for you to review and to create whatever you need on your own. So really excited for us to bring that to you on day 1 when we launch. So that was my final use case for today. We've covered handling traffic surges, enhancing AI responses, and protecting APIs. So some really great ways. And as you've seen in the chat, there's already been a number of other use cases that y'all are using today. So super excited to read those when I'm not also simultaneously talking. So that's really kind of a wrap up for today. We covered quite a bit. We introduced Valkey. It's a powerful open source community-driven in-memory data store. We talked about the features we're really excited about, both in the current version that we'll be releasing on day 1, as well as the future versions that we already got a sneak peek of what's coming in the pipeline with Valkey. And then we also shared kind of how we see the migration or conversion process, as well as some kind of cool use cases that hopefully some of y'all can apply. So now the questions are open to you. So feel free to ask about Valkey. You can ask about our new offerings specifically, migration process, anything else that's on your mind that's kind of related. Please submit your questions through the webinar chat. If you're watching this on social media, we don't always get all of the comments that you may be leaving directly on those platforms. So please scan the QR code, hop in the webinar chat, and we'll happily answer any of those questions. So I do know Nicole had at least one question queued up. The chat's been kind of active.
Yeah, so someone asked this actually before the webinar started. So assuming that the question is managed caching for Valkey similar to Redis? So
yeah. So I think it's really important to note that because managed caching is a fork from Redis 7.2, it was designed to be a drop-in replacement. The Valkey team is excited to own a meaningful roadmap for future development, and eventually they will become 2 very distinct products with probably different capabilities. But today, it's pretty much a drop-in replacement. Your client library should continue to work as you'd expect, and hopefully you don't even, if you decide not to do a self-conversion, maybe you don't even know we converted for you. Except hopefully you speed up a little bit, but of course.
Okay. Keep posting your questions if you have them. We'll go ahead and answer them. I'm just going to move on to what's next for you guys. So thank you, Zach, for the wonderful presentation. Appreciate that. So what to do next? If you are a new customer, so if you're joining and you are not currently using DigitalOcean, let alone our current managed caching service, we have some links for you. You can go ahead and sign up. You can, and I'll be posting these in the chat as well, but you can sign up using this link. We have documentation for you. You can look at our blog site. We will announce there when managed caching for Valkey is available. You can also contact sales if you have more questions about use cases, etc. If you go to our community site, again, which we will send you an email with all this information, and then we'll post it here. But if you go to the community site, you can sign up for our newsletter there, our customer newsletter. And then so I see service. You guys keep an eye out for an email announcement. Existing caching workloads that will come from DigitalOcean will provide that. So I'm going to leave this page up, but I do see another question in the chat. Is pricing going to be the same as the current managed caching service? Yes, but Zach, I mean, it is going to be exactly the same, but I'll let Zach go a little bit more into that.
Yeah, so we don't have any plans to use Valkey as an excuse to change our pricing structure. So yeah, that's the simple answer. We do have a number of requests that have come from clients that use our managed caching service where they want bigger plans. So we do hope to offer potentially more expensive options later on, but our core pricing won't change, and those larger options will basically be made up of like a factor of what compute requirements they take and how we price those out kind of across our entire portfolio. So yeah, no immediate changes. You won't see any immediate changes on your bill, and the only way you'll see an increase in price is if you go from maybe a 100 plus gigabyte of RAM cluster to a 200 plus gigabyte RAM cluster. But you'll, of course, will upgrade and be aware of that when you take that action.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like Zach said, we don't have plans on changing the pricing. Okay. I'll give a last minute if anyone has any questions, but if not, I just posted these here. So we have the sign up link. You can go ahead and grab it. And this is also in the chat too. We have documentation. We have our blog site, which again, we will announce when managed caching for Valkey is GA'd here. So keep an eye out on our blog site. The individual who just asked about pricing, you can check out our pricing here. Sorry, let me go ahead and get the pricing link. There we go. Pricing is here. And then we have contact sales and buttons. So contact sales, and then our community. All right, so again, this will be sent to you guys all in an email. Just posting this for the folks who are on social media. Okay, thank you everyone so much. We appreciate it. We're a little bit over, so we will go ahead and end this out. Remember, this webinar series, Sale to Success, is weekly. So check in on our LinkedIn for webinars that we have coming up. Also, you can go to our ideas portal. Tell us what you want to learn about. We're more than happy to take suggestions from you guys. All right, thank you everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all.